The judges had two scorecards, 48-47 for Vieira. One of them had it 48-47 for Holly Holm. So there was no 4-1, there was no 5-0. It was all 3-2, no fouls, no point deductions. That was just the way that it went, which inherently should tell you that it was pretty close to begin with. So let me just ask you this. First, how did you score it? And second, do you understand the controversy? What do you make of it?
I scored it 3-2 for Holly Holm. And, you saw her in the interview afterwards. Every response sort of circled back to, well, I know I won this fight. I think I won this fight. I think she did win the fight. I do think it was close enough in certain periods where it lacked maybe next level aggression and offense to leave somebody with no doubt in an argument. No, it didn't have that. There was enough. It was a close enough competitive fight. I just think overall I saw Holm do better work, even though it was her opponent that was landing the more damaging blows. I just didn't think there was enough of them from Vieira to overcome the good work you're seeing across the board that Holm was doing. Now, do I understand the controversy? Yes, but I'm almost more focused on Holly Holm had to work really freaking hard to get the scorecard on my card. I mean, she had to use almost everything she had left. And I'm not sure, Luke, even with Vieira having a good performance, landing her power, going 5 hard rounds, I don't think Holly Holm should be going life or death with this level of fighter. So you want to talk about that judging scoring? Sure. I thought they got it wrong, but it's close enough where it could have been either way. And I think I expected more from Holly Holm in the end.
I have a very I'll say similar-ish feeling to what I had with Rose versus Carla. Now, that fight was worse by a lot. I mean, I'm not saying that they're equivalent. Please don't misunderstand me. And this one had a lot more to like. Like, for example, this rear naked choke nearly closed the show in the second round. Credit to Vieira for throwing it on there. Credit to Holly Holm for slipping out the inside left shoulder and escaping it. So there were definitely like way more punctuated moments. I don't want folks to focus on just that. But the point I do want to make is here we have yet another weekend where we have both the commentary crew who are as esteemed as fighters as they come, and we have fighters in the cage. Obviously, these are A-level fighters who all seem to be a little bit not clear on what the scoring criteria is and what is valued and what should be pursued and what counts. I know it sounds insane when I get up here and I say, most of the major figures in the sport don't seem to understand the scoring criteria. I know that sounds insane. It also sounds like an insult. It is not designed to be an insult. I think if you have a problem at scale where you have this many people confused about it, then the folks who are in charge of changing it should probably have done a better job of getting the word out. I genuinely mean that. That's not some kind of dodge or cover. Like, truly, if the problem is that pronounced, you have to do better about it. At the same time, BC, this is really the operative condition. Fighters are putting together strategies either on the fly or ahead of time and executing them and then getting confused about why it's not going their way. Let me point out something here. You had Holly Holm reach for a double or a single. She would catch it, wouldn't get the takedown, but would capture the leg, drive Vieira into the fence, and then control her with an underhook and a head on the same side as the underhook, driving her over. Now, understand something. From that position, what Holly Holm is told to do, underhook, head on the same side of the underhook, controlling head position, right? Catching the far wrist, catching the far bicep. She is the one, by the clinch terms, controlling it. By clinch terms, that is the dominant player of the two. But the judges aren't trying to award people who have the best clinch per se. They're not trying to award people who have the best takedowns per se or the best footwork per se. What they are judging is damage. What they are judging is offense, and control in the clinch, while valuable and important by itself, is really not going to go very far at all in scoring. There has to be something that pushes the offensive quotient in terms of damage. There has to be something that pushes the offensive quotient in terms of danger. And that position is a safe and reliable position for control. It is not a safe and reliable position by itself, absent something on top of it, for offense. Offense that the judges value. Offense that the judges count. And it is alarming to me, I genuinely mean this, it is alarming to me that A-list fighters and A-list commentators week after week after week seem to think that because they know how to fight, which they most certainly do, they most certainly know how to fight, that confers upon them an understanding of how to judge and what judges value. They are distinct. They have overlap, but they are not the same skill. When people say we should just get fighters to be judges, this in no way solves the problem by itself without an acknowledgement that there is a scoring criteria that the vast majority that I can tell of fighters seem to, at least at a bare minimum, not be clear on. BC, this is I'm not going to call it a scandal, but this is actually a very big issue in the sport that seems to not be getting the attention that it deserves.
Okay. You've got the right argument. I just think you have it at the wrong time, meaning I don't think this fight was similar. What was that very recent Bellator main event? What was it? Bader
and Congo.
No, the one where...
MVP and Logan Storley.
There it is. Exactly. MVP and Logan Storley, in the end, I believe, was judges, and in that case, I guess, Big John McCarthy, who sided with the judges in terms of what he saw. I don't think that they were necessarily going the letter of the law of the scoring system. So the argument that you just made right there, or the take, I think works better in that type of fight, in that direction. I don't think Holm lost this not understanding the scoring system. I think that's where the difference is. I think Holm she had intention in her offense when she had the quote-unquote control position. Now, what I'd said earlier was I don't think she did enough damage, basically, where you can go to the scorecards with full confidence. But I'm not upset with Holly Holm thinking she won that fight because, Luke, at the end of the day, yes, Vieira landed the more damaging shots, but how much activity did Holly need to have mixed with the control, mixed with the busy offense to in most people's eyes, either equal or better what Vieira did with the damaging shots? I think Holly did enough. I thought when you mix in the control she was trying to get for the takedown, she stood her up. I know that's not the most exciting stretches we saw, but I thought I saw Holly do enough and look offensive enough. I think your argument is more for when somebody's trying to win a fight completely on control. Did you
no,
not?
It's not.
Did you not see enough offensive intention in Holm, Luke?
When you, just to be clear, when you say offensive intention, help me understand what you mean by that.
Aggression, really. A point. Look, every fighter seems to understand that in a position where nothing's happening, if they can stay busy, they're showing intention to the judges that even in this crappy position or where I'm really working for control, I'm at least giving you the visual illusion that I'm going for it and trying to push forward. I think Holly Holm filled a lot of those dull moments with at least that. I'm not saying overall she landed so much in terms of damage that there's not an argument here. There is an argument. It's a close-ass fight. I don't think Holly Holm missed it. I think the judges just didn't prefer what she put out there.
Okay, so to be clear, it was, as we mentioned, it was 3-2, 2-3, 3-2. So I don't think Holly Holm has a poor argument for winning. That's not my argument at all. And I also, obviously, if she feels disappointed, that's entirely understandable as well. But remember what her first comments were as soon as the fight was over. She said, I'll give her round 2. Now, that was the round with the choke. Fair enough. Okay. But she thought she won all the rest of the rounds, and it was no big deal. Let me explain something. If you and I are apart, and I level change, and I grab your leg, and I drive you to the fence, I have a near side underhook and the head on the same side, I drop the leg. Now we are there. You are being pressed into the fence. I am winning this exchange. I am winning this control position between you and me. As far as the judges are concerned, it's not to say that it's meaningless, right? Because I am initiating some kind of offense, but it's worth that much to them. Once I get there and I press you up against the fence, the only thing that matters from there is what kind of damage you are scoring. The value of getting the underhook and then the near side head control, the value is that now with this underhook, I can move you, I can turn you, I can off balance you, I can lift you, I can do all kinds of things. Plus, because I have the head on the inside angle, I now have a better angle for dominant strikes. Simply arriving to that position, being basically a wash in strikes in the clinch, and then at distance, which is what the judges must have determined, that Vieira was doing slightly better, which is, I think, all you could really say. Vieira did a few rounds, she did slightly better. That, to me, should not be surprising to anybody. The fact that I initiate the clinch and that I control it, but I don't really afterwards meaningfully put damage behind it, it's not to say that the clinch is irrelevant. It's to say, as far as the judges are concerned, you may have initiated and controlled the clinch, but you didn't use it for any kind of effective offense thereafter. So,
Okay,
like, she's saying I controlled the rounds for the majority of the time. That's absolutely true, but not with offense.